Hi, my name is Dr. Joyce Z. Wazirali. I'm on a prosperity show, and please watch this video because it's very inspiring and it opens up a new world. Maybe you have heard about it, but never known about it, but you get a lot of insight and tools to make a happy and healthy life for yourself and your environment.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, your premium destination for exclusive insights into transformative leadership and personal growth. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we have a truly exceptional guest that's joining us. Now, Dr. Joyce, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited about the show today. I know we've already started having a bit of laughs, but I know, the value that we're going to get from you is going to be phenomenal. But I thank you so much for joining us on the show. Now, for those that are watching right now, Dr. Joyce is the visionary founder and CEO of the UnityConscious Leadership Academy. Now, let me tell you something. I couldn't help notice, Joyce, that you actually grew up in a lush landscape in the Amazon, and that was in Suriname, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you a question. As a child, did you ever try to convince a banana tree to grow mangoes?
No.
Absolutely.
That's possible. But
Absolutely.
yeah. In the Amazon was a playground for me where I laid the foundation of Unity Conscious Leadership. That is, in retrospect, I discovered that there was my roots. And there were three things in my life that came across in my youth to develop Unity Conscious Leadership. And the first one is the nature in the Amazon. My grandmother had an orchard, and I loved to go to the orchard. And I was a toddler. I was walking around there, and I was wondering how I have a philosopher in me. So I was asking myself, how does the banana tree, how to know how to grow bananas, and how do they know how bananas look like, and the mango tree, and I saw all the trees, all the fruits, and I saw the birds flying around and fluttering and from flower to flower. And then I became aware of how everything is interconnected with each other and need each other in order to survive and to live. And that was an awareness that was my vision of life, the interconnectedness. The second is that I was born in a big family. So I'm the seventh of nine. And as one of the youngest, I had the opportunity to observe my siblings and my parents. And so what I saw was their behavior. There was a pattern in their behavior, and it repeated again and again. So for me, the future was predictable, and then it happened. So from a young age, I could see patterns in behavior between people. And the culture in Suriname, that's the third part, is it was very peaceful. The culture exists of many people from different parts of the world living in peace together with respect to each other. Everyone could be authentic with their own religion and norms, values, etc. So I've learned how to live in peace with a multicultural environment. And that was my first 10 years of my life. And then we moved to the Netherlands.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are listening right now, Dr. Joyce is not only an award-winning entrepreneur with 38 years of experience, but also a doctor in entrepreneurship, and she specializes in personal leadership and cultural changes. You have already heard that her past actually influences the kind of work that she's doing right now. And some of her groundbreaking work has been featured in esteemed publications like Forbes, TimesBusiness Magazine, and the Who is Who of the world. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into Dr. Joyce's remarkable journey from her early days in the Amazon, as she has eloquently stated, to her innovative leadership methodologies that are reshaping organizations worldwide. And we'll explore how her unique perspective has influenced this approach to leadership and cultural transformation. Now, Joyce, you've already started telling us of the things that you were doing as a kid, going in the orchard, looking at, a mango tree and saying, whoa, how does it know? And looking at, all the other flora and fauna, which were the birds and things that were moving around. Did you ever ask the adults that were around you if they had answers to that?
No, I thought that everyone saw the same things as I saw. So I didn't know my perspective was different than most people. So for me, it was normal.
Absolutely. And what were the sort of conversations that you would have with, the other 8 siblings, that were around? Were they also seeing it like that? Or did they just think, oh, you're the youngest, it was just a Joyce thing? Or did they also see things in that way?
I think they also saw a part of that. But because of my awareness, as the first time I was aware of life was at that moment. So it's like putting on a lens which you carry the rest of your life. For example, when someone, first awareness in life is seeing people fighting. It is like it becomes a pattern in their life that they see people fighting around them. So it depends on what is your first awareness, and that is what I discovered with myself, but also with my clients when they are struggling with some issues in life. Mostly it starts already in their childhood. And that's what I do. I help people. And it's not only what they carry from their childhood in their own family, but also it extends in all context of their life, also on a working place when they become older, etc., and with friends, etc. So they encounter the same patterns in their life that started already in their childhood.
Absolutely. And you had this experience in the Amazon up until you were 10 years old. Obviously, you would have formulated a character or, the person that you were going to be. What was it like when you had to leave all of that and go to the Netherlands?
I was just a child, so I had to go with them, and it was okay for me. It was like going on holiday, but never go back. Yeah. So I can adjust in my environment. That is what I discovered. I did my studies. I'm always curious. So I learned a lot of things by studies. And I always found another way to practice what I studied. And it was on a deeper level. And later I discovered it was because of I see the things different. So when you learn something, and mostly people use it that way. But for me, it is different. I see opportunity to use it in several ways. And that is why I get more insights. But by discovering the lens of Unity Conscious Leadership, I became aware of, it is like I was already aware of that we are living in a quantum field, and that and I used it also for myself. I didn't know how to use it in another way. So we are all interconnected with each other. We influence each other all the time. And I saw my environment as my mirror. So when things happened, I went to investigate it myself. What is it in me that creates my outer world? And I always found the answers in myself, and also the solution. And by finding the solution and solving that I was carrying with me, my environment changed. And it was also always a trauma or something what happened in my life or inherited by my ancestors. So, and I worked with my client for 38 years now, and the same way. It doesn't matter if it is an individual or an entrepreneur or a director. It doesn't matter. It is always these 3 steps: from outside, inside, self-reflection, and finding the solutions in yourself. Because in a trauma, there is a hidden potential. People lose part of their potential due to a trauma they have experienced. And people experience obstructive patterns in their life because the potential wants to get free. The potential is calling you. So when I get clients with many problems, and then I say, you have a lot of potential inside you that want to release. And I guide them to release it, and then their environment change, their life change, and they experience flow in their life. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I quite like that, because the interconnectedness that we have is what a lot of people don't get to experience, because in the modern world, we are living in artificial, habitats. We are having artificial light, and maybe to an extent breathing artificial air. So that takes away the connection that people might have to nature and stuff like that. So would this be an accurate sort of perception of how people have been leading their lives, or?
Yes, but you have people living in separateness. They think they live separate from their environment, but in reality, we live in a quantum field. So it is only from the mind people see space and time as to separate themselves from their environments. So, but that is only the mental part. But in reality, if you look to the whole, we are all interconnected, and we influence each other continuously.
Okay. All right. So your journey started off as a clinical chemical analyst, and you're obviously diving into the microcosm of life and things of that nature. How then does the connectedness work with the science of wanting fact and proof and proving things and things of that nature?
Yes, just by practicing. I didn't know. It was, I have always done it unconsciously because it is my gift. And later I realized what I was doing. And so I followed my intuition, and I worked with my intuition, and I knew what to do with people who had problems, or with their organization, or with themselves. So I'm also connected with my clients, and so I can also sense what they are feeling. And sometimes people they are closed, they are sad, for example, and they come enter my practice. And then I can feel their sadness. And then I start to cry, and they say, "What happened?" And I say, "It's not my sadness, it's your sadness, what I'm showing." And then they open up and they start to cry, and they'll tell their stories. So that is the way how I do it. I connect from heart to heart with my clients. And I get the information, and so I can help them to the core.
Absolutely. So I saw somewhere that at 23, you actually you founded a business. Like it was a services company that you started, and then it actually started growing rapidly. What would you say were the key factors that contributed to such success, especially the fact that obviously you had only just been 13 years in the country, and now you're doing this by yourself? And what sort of challenges were you facing at that time?
For me, the word challenge, I don't know, but always opportunities. Yeah, so sometimes people say I experience obstacles. For me, it's this opportunity to grow. So when there is no flow for what reason, then I start to investigate what is happening, what is my part, and how can I solve it myself.
Absolutely.
And then what happens is my consciousness grows. I become aware of how things are interconnected on a deeper level between people or in situations. So it is, the growth of my awareness about life, about relationships, about how you can build healthy relationships and why people are suffering. So every time I get a new client, I learn from my client as well. I get new insights, and then I can use it to give it to my clients. And so the lens of Unity Conscious Leadership is always growing. It is not just one thing. It is growing through the years. Also, my clients who follow the courses with me, it's growing. And in the time of the Plaza Group, I was 23 years when we started. After 13 years, we had 80 staff members. And it was like we were in a flow, and we didn't realize that we are growing so fast. But it was one of the success factors was also the lens of Unity Conscious Leadership. And what happened was that our employees and our clients were our greatest ambassadors, because people like to work at our place. They had the opportunity to grow themselves, not only professional, but also personal. And that happened also with our clients, entrepreneurs. And while they are growing, the business is growing as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah, because how you do anything is how you do everything. If one part of you is in alignment, then obviously the other parts are also going to be working. I'm actually intrigued there, Joyce, because you mentioned that you view obstacles as opportunities for growth, and that's a very unique way of seeing things, where everybody sees the glass half empty. Now, can you maybe share maybe a specific instance or an instance where a significant challenge actually then led to a breakthrough in your personal or professional life? Because some people might just be thinking, wow, if everything is an opportunity, then, what if I had like a car accident that was an obstacle that would stop you from working for a very long time?
Yeah, well, the first thing I look at is when someone enters my room is what are the patterns in their life or in their company. So the patterns, obstructive patterns. And from there, I help them to look inside and find what is the obstruction in themselves. So I will give an example. I once had a client who had a burnout, and the doctor said, you have to stay for 1 year on your bed and keep quiet, don't work, etc., etc. And then after 1 year, she felt more energy and she went back to her working place. And within a week, she was burned out again. And then she came to me, and I was investigating her life, or what happened in the past, in her childhood. And what happened was, she was the eldest of the 2 children, and when her younger sister was born, she didn't get attention anymore she received from her parents. And to get their attention, she started to take care of her baby sister, to take care of her parents, and do her utmost to be seen and to be heard and appreciated by her parents. And that was a pattern from childhood on. And she expanded it in her working environment as well. So she was always caring, giving, and not receiving. She was, if she needed help, she didn't ask for help. So it was, she was carrying a lot of burdens that were not only hers, but also from her colleagues. And but the pattern started from childhood. So I worked with her to solve that trauma and release the potential, because she stopped to being a child. She was already an adult at a young age. So she lost the potential of being a child. And what is the potential of a child? To be a child is open, curious, is energetic, is creative. It's children are also entrepreneurs. And that is, if people lose that, then they don't get the energy they need to take steps forward. So since that session, she had no burnout anymore. And most people who are carrying a lot of burdens have pain on their shoulders and their neck. And that is what she had as well. And it went away. It was over. Yeah.
Wow. That's quite interesting, because as you would notice in the first world, people just grow up in a linear fashion. You go to kinder, then you go to high school, and then you go to university. From there, automatically you're in a job, you get married. There's not that distinction from childhood to adulthood. And so many people would obviously not have that opportunity to be children, because everything has to be done in a linear fashion, because mom and dad have to go to work. Now, your work really highlights the importance of breaking through a lot of these obstructive patterns and healing a lot of traumas. But so many people might not be able to know or understand or see that they're in some sort of a pattern that is holding them in order for them to progress. So what sort of common patterns do you observe, say, in leaders or entrepreneurs, and how do you sort of guide them towards transformation?
Yeah, so examples of patterns, obstructive patterns, are that people are feeling abandoned, but most of the time they're closing themselves off from their environment. So it's also the behavior of the person, or feeling neglected, or having a hard time recognizing their own place. Where is my place? They are always looking for, where is my place? Or they're feeling unheard, unseen, or smaller than others. They're looking up to other people. So, or they feel bigger than others. That are most people who are very responsible, and or they are lacking courage to ask for help. These are the patterns. And then, the secret is, I can tell you the secret, because it is something from inside me. I look from the perspective of oneness, and I see that the reflection of themselves is outside. And then I ask, for example, someone asked a lot of friends, he had a problem and he asked friends for how would you solve it? Give me some advice. And all the friends say different things. So he came back to me and he said, I don't know what to do because all the friends say different things to me. And I asked him, and were the answers you got from them, were there also your own thoughts about the solution? And he started to laugh. He said, yes. I said, that's your mirror. If you don't know what to do, you get those answers. The answers are inside yourself. And then I helped him to get the answer himself.
Absolutely. Oh, so somebody has to present themselves to you. And I quite like that, because I think the concept of Unity Conscious Leadership, it really emphasizes that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, right? And you know, so many people would not want to see that distinction or have the mirror on them so that they can view internally, because it's a lot of work to do that. So how can people maybe apply this principle, maybe to start looking for the positive change that they're looking for in their personal and maybe professional relationships?
Oh, they can start to read my book. You can order it worldwide at Amazon. So I wrote the book, UnityConscious Leadership. This is the book. And I wrote about the principle of UnityConscious Leadership. And I have a lot of practical examples in my book about personal leadership, but also cultural leadership. So it's also for organizations or leaders of organizations. And I offer courses, year courses, and I offer guidance. Is shorter than for a year. Mostly my guidance take maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and then we are finished because the problem is solved. And that is the reason why I introduced Unity Conscious Leadership, because I saw that many people are struggling and they go to one coach, to another training, and they're always looking for answers outside themselves. But with my guidance from the perspective of Unity Conscious Leadership and by reading my book, you will become aware that you can find the answers and the solutions in yourself. Sometimes you need help to someone who has a form of therapy you need, but mostly you can find it in yourself. It is not so difficult. So I see many people suffering and looking outside themselves. And I want to tell the people, everything is already in you. You have to find it in yourself. And sometimes people go to a therapist, and then the therapist say, "Oh, you have that and that problem, and you have HDA, and I don't know what boxes you are put in." But it is not. I take people out of the boxes, and I help them to grow, to find their potential, and to be strong again, and follow their path, what is meant for them. So then the people get into the flow.
You see, I quite like that. But Joyce, do you understand and acknowledge that separation is actually done by design? The separation that people don't have within themselves, because if people really knew who they were or understood their capability and the potential that you keep referring to, so many of the institutions and so many of the world that we have today would not exist. You know, just to put it simply, people travel across the world to go places, to go and find that which they already have within themselves. All right. So,
yes.
And what's been the sort of reception that people have given this book or the work that you've been doing? Because your methodologies have actually earned international recognition. I mean, including you've been featured in Forbes, TimesBusiness Magazine, and things like that. What's been the sort of reception to the people that it's actually intended for? how are people responding to this message?
Oh yeah, very positive. And they tell other people as well, you have to go to Joyce because you can find the answers quickly. It is also quick, and it is not a lifetime search. It is something, because the whole world has been built up for many centuries from separateness, and separateness is the duality, good and bad, and black and white, etc., etc., and that is only creating polarity. So and crises, and people start think they have to solve it, but they solve it from the mindset of separateness again. And what do you get? More separateness. So it's multiplying. It's getting worse and worse, and that is because everything is built from the perspective of separateness. So you get more separateness. But if you build from your oneness, you get more oneness.
Absolutely. See, all right. For the listener who might just be a bit skeptical about the impact of inner transformation, and probably they're hearing it for the very first time, so that that your inner transformation creates your external success or external sort of world. You're a scientist. You would appreciate this question. What evidence or examples can you provide to illustrate that there is a connection between the inner and the outer?
Yeah, there is a lot of information about quantum mechanica. They can read about it, and it all answers also what I'm telling. So it already the scientists already know that we are in a quantum field, and the evidence is my clients who are happy with the guidance and the courses I offer, and they are my ambassadors. They tell other people, and then other people come to me. So that is my evidence, the people who come to my practice.
Absolutely. So for those that are interested in diving deeper into Unity Consciousness Leadership, what would be the first step for them to get started?
No, they can read a book or connect with me if they recognize some patterns I just mentioned. They can connect with me and have a free call for a half hour, so I can see how I can help them, and then we can, if people want to work on that, we can make a appointment to work on that, and I do it online and live, so it doesn't matter where you live. I also have clients in New Zealand, and magic happened there. It's really Prosper. It's amazing what happens, and I do it online, but the change happens there, and I'm so thankful that it's also possible with all this, and that we can have connection while you are in Australia and I'm in the Netherlands. So I'm thankful for that. I offer also my courses. So if people are interested to change their perspective from separateness to unity conscious leadership, I can learn them how to do that. After 1 year, you don't want to go back to the duality or separateness, because you are in the unity. And what happens is you feel more happiness inside yourself. I call it absolute happiness, because you have absolute happiness and relative happiness. And relative happiness is you are happy because of the things you have. But if you lose them, you lose your happiness. But absolute happiness is not depending on what you have, but it's always inside yourself. And then you get a better world. You get better, healthier relationships. So if people are in a toxic relationship on a working place or in their family, or they have sadness or whatever, they can connect with me, and then I can look how I can help them. Mostly in one session, you have already a lot of change you will experience. And my guidance, it is a start, but it works through the weeks, months, years. So it's like you open a door and it gets more open and open. And so it is not for once and then it stops, but it goes on.
Absolutely. I'll definitely put all the links so that people can, start their path in order to find that absolute happiness, because it is a gift when you can literally not be attached to any of the things that seemingly make us happy, which, if you really look at it, they are the ones that are actually dragging us, into the states that we're in right now. Now, Joyce, I mean, I can't help but notice the connection that there is, because Amazon is abundant. If you have that as your playground, you're literally playing with sticks and stones, looking at ants doing their thing, and also being humbled, knowing you had nothing to do with what you're seeing in front of you. Now, do you think the first 10 years have been very formidable in the way that you now approach cultural change within organizations? Because some people have never had to experience that, or have never even left the state that we're born in.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It has influence also on the level of cultural change. I also work with directors and leaders of companies, and my first session is only with the leader and without the people on the working floor. And what I do is investigate what happened in the past in the organization. It's like in a family, in your childhood, you have experiences and that influences the rest of your life. And that is what happens also in organizations. So if things had happened in the past in the organization, it is still in the collective memory of the organization. And what happens is that sometimes leaders start to replace people from some places in the company, remove people, take new people, and think that this will solve the problem. But the problem is already in the history of the company. So what happens is that the people who are replaced and the new one comes, they show the same behavior as the person before them. Because of the collective memory of the organization. So there are traumas, and the traumas want to get healed. So the first time I work with the leader only one-on-one, and we find out what was the trauma, and we look at the dynamic, how it is now, and how you would like to have it. So I'm looking for the desire. I always ask, what is your desire? And then the work with the desire and what is blocking to get to your desire. And then the information comes free. So I do it with system dynamic work, and I do it more than 20 years. So that is a beautiful tool. But also the tool, my lens, helps also to get to a deeper level and get to the source. And for one example, I had a director of a primary school, and the team was not working together, and everyone was doing their own thing. And after the session with me, a lot changed. Without the people didn't come to my place, only the director. And she said, it is amazing. Suddenly they started to take the responsibility, and they were talking with each other. How can we solve together this and together that? So the dynamic, the carrier of the dynamic is the director. And if the dynamic in the director change, then the dynamic in the organization change as well. So I'm always looking for solutions that work quick, but also durable. So this is a movement in the organization that will not go back to what it was, but it opens new opportunities to grow and to flow and to grow also the potential, because it's not only in a school, it's not only the teacher, but also the students. And they are also suffering if there is a certain dynamic which is not healthy. So it is not only for the director, it is for the staff, the team, but also for the children at school. So they experience the difference. And that's why I do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Joyce, I can't thank you enough for the time that we spent on the call. I know there's quite a lot about these things, because once you start venturing inside, you never know what you're gonna find there. But what's next? What can people expect, that you're working on, or what can we be excited about in the future?
What's next? I want to travel around the world, my desire, and spread the lens of Unity Conscious Leadership. Work with people, with groups. So if people have organized retreats and they say, come in, Joyce, I would like you to guide this group, I would love to do that. I'm working on a theater show. My first theater show will be in October in the Netherlands, and I want to expand it also international. So so I'm spreading the news so we can create more healthy relationships, healthy communities, absolute happiness and peace. That is my mission.
Well, I won't be surprised if one day I'm invited to, a talk, and it happens to be you in Melbourne, Australia. So fingers crossed.
Yeah,
that might actually
be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you so much, Dr. Joyce, for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today on the Online Prosperity Show. And for those that are watching right now, thank you too for obviously partaking in this groundbreaking idea. Obviously, it has been going around for a while, but I encourage you to visit UnityConscious Leadership Academy. I will put the links in the show notes so that you can learn a lot more, about this connectivity that we have with everything around us. And don't forget to check out the book, Unity Conscious Leadership, and it's available on Amazon. Not the jungle she grew up in, but the Amazon that Jeff Bezos he created for us. So people would have thought, oh, do I have to go back to
cut trees, make paper, and then
not that Amazon, the one where you use your credit card. But stay tuned for our next episode, where we're going to be diving into ideas designed to enhance your happiness and well-being. And I want to say something. If you found today's discussion enlightening, just please share this episode with somebody who could actually benefit from Dr. Joyce's transformative approach. And while you're at it, if somebody has shared this with you, why don't you subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show so you do not miss out on insightful content like this. Until next time, never stop believing. Bye for now.